Postnatal mental illness does not have to be a barrier to continue to breastfeed. We know that supporting parents to meet their feeding goals will actually have a positive impact on their mental health.
So I'm Emily and this is Edie. I wanted to breastfeed her. I was worried. I was aware that some mums can find it difficult. So I think I was already a bit anxious about it before we even got to it. I was in hospital for a couple of days after he was born, and then so I started breastfeeding in hospital, and I think it was going okay actually. And then we went home, and I just became really, really unwell, like in terms of with the anxiety, and later was diagnosed with postnatal depression. And I think so that's really affected my experience of breastfeeding. I think actually the breastfeeding was going okay, but I was kind of having lots of anxiety about that it wasn't going okay, that it wasn't feeding her enough, and so that kind of had a big impact on how our breastfeeding journey went, I would say. And then it got to the point where I was I was really, really, really anxious, and we were basically admitted to hospital. So at that point, I'd been just solely breastfeeding, and we'd had the weigh-in, and she put on just enough weight, but the frame of mind that I was in, for me, I was like, oh, maybe it's not enough. She's not getting enough, and then because I was really struggling to sleep. When we went into hospital, they wanted me to sleep. They wanted me to get some sleep. So at night, actually it turned out being for a long time, but I was kind of sleeping, and the staff would look after Edie. So in terms of the breastfeeding, I carried on feeding her during the day, but then at night we introduced the bottle and formula. Once we'd introduced the bottle and the formula, I think to a certain extent she found it easier to feed from the bottle. She was less keen to go to the breast, and the breastfeeding became a lot more much more of a challenge. It was like she didn't want to breastfeed. We had lots of kind of screaming, and obviously I didn't know her very well. Like, she was so small, and so I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know if she'd not had enough, or it was just really difficult. If I'd have just stayed with the breastfeeding, I think I probably would have been a lot better off. Than that kind of complicated things. And if I feel like if I'd have listened to my body a bit more, it would have worked out better. I just really wanted to do it. I had the dream of, it wouldn't be so easy. Because when we were doing the mixed feeding, I found that a real challenge actually. I know lots of people do mixed feeding, but I found that hard. It felt like I got the worst of both worlds, because I was still trying to breastfeed her, and I was expressing a lot to try and increase my supply. But then we were also having the bottle, so we're also had all the sterilising and all that sort of thing. And it was I never knew how much she wanted or how much she needed. And I think doing both was really hard. So I used to think, it would be so great if I could just get back to her and she was just breastfeeding. And I didn't think it would be possible. At that point, I just thought, no, I didn't think it would happen. Some stubborn streak in me knew that I wanted to do it. And so, I did work hard, because it was hard work. Ultimately, we were able to get back to exclusively breastfeeding. So it was in my opinion, it was worth it. I'm so happy now that we carried on, because it's great. Now it's great. Now it's like a bit of a rest, like it's a little bit of our time. It feels like we're kind of close together when she's breastfeeding. In terms of the infant feeding team, 100% we wouldn't be breastfeeding now if we'd not had your support, honestly. I don't know, every time you came, it just kind of set my mind at ease for a period, so we could just kind of carry on. When I was in hospital and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be so easy if we were just breastfeeding, and I didn't think we'd make it, but we did eventually. I think I know what she wants now. Yeah.
Wild photos. If you are suffering from postnatal depression or anxiety, you are not alone. It can be common in the days, weeks, and months following your baby's delivery. Please reach out to friends, family, your midwife, health visitor, or GP for support.